I'm actually glad that you've dissolved the company.
Okay. Why?
Here's why. Because welcome back to the Evolve podcast. And it's episode 30. You listen to me, Lewis, and Samuel. Sam.
The big 3-0.
Tell all. Yeah, 30. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
30. 30 weeks.
We smashed it. 2 weeks straight.
Oh, shit. Yeah, 30. Yeah, that's kind of sick.
Yeah. Look at us. 30 episodes in. Pretty good.
Fair.
Good. Yeah, I know. Jesus. God, we've not. I don't think we've missed a week of uploads.
We actually have.
I've missed one recording, but we've not missed a week. Uploads.
We have uploaded from the YouTube and Spotify or wherever. We have posted every week.
Yeah,
an episode somehow in some format.
And honestly, guys,
I've been here for 30 weeks.
Yeah, you've been here. I've been here for like 29.
We can celebrate. Yeah, we can celebrate Sam's 30th next week. To be fair, you know what? You've done.
Because if I'm doing redundancy tales,
yeah, you know what? You've done more, but that's official. That's extra content. Fine.
Yeah, that's not even out yet. That would be out. Yeah, I'm still looking at that. But yeah, what a week it has been. My ribs hurt, and I don't know if anyone's getting the sentiment of this.
Why?
But I mean, how is that a pause? My ribs hurting is not a pause-worthy one, surely. What about that?
Yeah, fine.
Oh,
fine.
God.
Fine. Gone. Sorry. Explain.
As you can tell, guys, this is going to be one of our usual entertaining, bit of a waffly one, I think, isn't it? We've not really got...
You know what? I actually think we need it. I think we need it.
We need a waffle episode. We're so strict to these topics that we barely stick to anyway on a conversation. I think we deserve this. We've earned a break from just fixed stuff that we do terrible research for. Well, Lewis does a lot of research. I just turn up with life experiences and I turn up with tragic stories from my background.
I think the last 20 to 30 or 20 to 29 were a lot better. The teens were a bit rough.
Yeah, they were rough.
The teens were rough. So
we're finding
we're doing good. We've done. I mean, we've done like over 30 hours now because some of the pod episodes are long.
True.
But no, man, we'll be good. I have a couple of things from my end.
Okay.
To be fair, we only did the last episode 4 days ago.
I've got a few celebratories as well, actually. A sad one and a celebratory one. I've got a sad update and a celebratory one.
Okay.
So
let's
save that for the end.
You know what? I actually have
good news or bad news.
You know what? Let's go. Just go into it, Sam. Let's go into it, Sam.
Yeah,
give the people.
Just go. Like this is because
I have
midway through the episode.
I have 2 things I want to talk to you about, but give me your updates first.
Okay, first updates. I've got 2 sad ones and 2 good ones.
Okay, go on.
Bad news first. Yeah, bad news first.
Go on.
First bad news. We're closing Anxious Extrovert down. That's gonna go goodbye now. We're gonna dissolve the business. I'm smiling while I say it because I sat with Ollie and we're basically just like, we feel we're just kind of beating a dead horse at this point. Do we think the brand is needed? Yes. Do we think we have the capacity to do it better than anyone else? Right now, no. And with that logic in mind, I feel like there's no point in pushing further. Does that mean I'm done with any kind of side business and side hustles? No. And that ranges into good news number 1. I am launching a platform, let's say, with Luke. It's going to be an opportunity for people to buy and sell items from each other. It's a peer-to-peer selling platform. So I'm going to launch that with Luke. Very excited about this. Other bad news, completely lost my cool in the office today. And when I say I completely lost my cool, like, Lewis, I have been holding back.
Okay, before
the other good news before I give this.
Because there's some things. Okay, right. I'm gonna stop you halfway.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually glad that you've dissolved the company.
Okay. Why?
Here's why. No, because Sam, here's why. Because a lot of people don't dissolve their company until it destroys them. Yeah. And the company owns them. So the reason why I'm saying that I'm actually glad. I don't think this is a sad occasion. As an objective bystander, I think this is actually very good for you because you've recognized there's a point of, when TV shows run on for too long, and then it ends on a bad note, and then it makes no money, and then it goes to shit, and it leaves a bitter taste. You've left at a bittersweet point. I wouldn't say you've left at a peak. You haven't left when it's gone to shit. You've left at a good point for you to exit, and you understand why. Most people don't realize that point until years later when people, one of the business fell, and they go, I don't know. You actually know. I wouldn't say it's a failure because you already know what you needed to do, and we had that conversation off the pod anyway. And you've actually made the wise decision to take your energy from that and put it into something else, which you already sound a lot more enthusiastic about than you have done in 100%. So I don't see this as bad. Because it would have been bad if you were like, we've had to close the company down.
Right, rather than going to
as opposed to, I'm going to do it because it's our choice, and actually we want to put our energy into something else which we will try and work. And if you go, and this is part of the journey, because you said, and we've discussed, like, entrepreneurs are more like, well, the definition I came across like networking, it's like it's serial. Like they start multiple companies. So think of it like job applications, right? Like you apply for one job, you might not get it. Like, you know, a lot of people start different companies until they get the one that sticks. So you're just moving into another phase, and the next thing might fail. You never know. We hope it doesn't. But at the same time, you're going to be better every single time you start another company, because you're taking the experiences from your failure, which you already are. You're not just starting another company because you're like, oh, I want to start another company because I need to be seen as somebody who starts another company. I already know, knowing you, that you've already overthought it way too much already, and you already know what you're going to do.
Yeah, we know exactly what we're doing.
Exactly.
Like the next, we've already like
this isn't
it's being built as we speak. Like, right now, the first platform's being built.
Exactly,
so,
and I guarantee you're probably 6 months to a year ahead with this new company that you were the extra in probably the first two.
Yeah, because lessons learned.
Exactly. So this isn't bad. Like, looking pragmatically,
right.
This isn't bad at all. You're just reallocating your energy to something else, which is better.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right.
So when you said that, I'm like, oh, Sam, like, because I understand what the process is. Like, if you go tell your mom, you tell a casual mate, they're gonna be like, oh man, like, and you treat it like a grievance, but this isn't you're going to grieve it because you've put a lot of energy into it. However, that energy isn't gone. It's gone into something else. So the essence of anxious extrovert is going into your new thing. So I don't see it as a death.
True. I think apart from
bars there, sorry.
Facts. I feel like, how can I give it more flowers? Yeah. Appreciate that. No, really appreciate that. And you're right. You're 100% right. Ultimately, the only sad part is obviously the amount of work and coding we've done that we're probably going to have to just throw away. But we're not going to. We've saved copies of everything because they're all like, not that we're going to launch the website again with something else, but it's more like there's features in there that we would use in another website that I don't really see the point of rebuilding. Rather, I can redirect it. So there's like APIs we created and all these things that we made when we're doing all our fun stuff. Anxious Extrovert was an amazing journey that myself and Ollie especially have been on for God knows how many years. And it slowly became a business that was focused on well-being, but it allowed us to create tech that our day jobs didn't let us do. And it allowed me and Ollie to add some pretty awesome stuff to our CVs. It's been really cool to be able to add those websites to our CVs. It's been really cool to be able to talk about coding, A/B testing, all the technical stuff that ultimately our companies didn't let us do, because either someone will hear about this cool idea and decide they're going to do it, or your boss will just say, oh, we don't have a passion to focus on that right now. And we kind of think, well, there is use to this. We'll build it and it will work for a bit, but then we really wouldn't take it as far in terms of making a fully fledged business. I think I touched on it before around what the letdowns were when we were considering closing it down. And it was mainly around, there are certain technical implementations that simply just weren't done in the right way, or in the way I wanted it to be done. Apart from that, there's also the focus of, I was balancing so many things, I don't think I was able to give it as much attention as I gave. I'm probably more disappointed in the fact that it became my identity as an entrepreneur. It became what made me consider myself an entrepreneur. And it felt like failing on that was failing on being an entrepreneur, especially when I'm giving people business advice, I'm giving people branding advice, and I failed on this. But I've come to learn that it's about the journey. It's not always about being 100% successful. What me and you are trying to do through Evolve, and what I'm doing throughout my life, is making a record of the journey. And something will be successful over time. And when that success comes around, we are unique in our journey in terms of we've recorded it step by step.
Absolutely.
So someone can come back and watch this episode where they can hopefully, well, I'm not going to say hopefully because it's going to happen. In 2 years' time, I'm going to be a millionaire, let's say. And someone's going to wonder, how did he get there? And they're going to watch this episode and think, he failed. And I would love for someone to see me in that position and watch this episode and think, it does get better, because they can compare the two moments here. So this was anticipated. And I think this is another predicted the future. There is, in our list of episodes, there is something about saying goodbye to an idea.
There was that. So yeah, we can...
this is what this has become. So we'll delve into that probably another day. Maybe next week we can delve into that properly.
Yeah. I think what I find interesting, Sam, is that you keep saying fail, and I find that quite interesting.
I don't see failure as a negative, by the way, when I say it.
No. Yeah. But I think a lot of people will say, like, it's very easy to feel like you're failing all the time. I do 99% of the time, because you're trying to get something done and it's not happening. So you feel like you're in a state of failure then. But a lot of people, when you take the mantle or the title of entrepreneur, you're taking more failure with it than you are successes, because you have to, like, and it's like I'll remind you the Gary Vee clip I saw the other day. It's like an entrepreneur, a successful seen on social media entrepreneur, is someone who fails a lot. You fail more than you will succeed, but people don't care about that because it's a better story to tell. At the moment, your current story of Sam up until this point is, if you had a company like that, if I asked you, like, a year ago, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm Sam, and the story you would tell would be in a positive light, right? When you're at the moment when you're starting the company, you'd be like, oh, I'm Sam, I'm a failed entrepreneur. Like, that's what you do. Like, your story is only up until Sam at this point. Sam in episode 60, episode 100, you will tell the story of Sam differently because not there yet. And that's the entrepreneurial stuff. Like, you can't, I think what is very interesting for people who will listen to this is that when you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to be, even publicly, seen as failing a lot until you're seen as a genius when you're right. You're delusional up to the point where you can, when you've done it, and everyone thinks, oh my God, how did they do that? Up until that point, only you are 100% going to be backing you.
Exactly.
100%. Like, yes, you have your family and, like, you're part of things like that, but only you are 100% backing you. And even if it's like you're the only one who can see what you can do, like, you have to back yourself until you've done it. And then everyone's like, oh my God, visionary. So it's part of the process, man. And I think you're failing forward, which is good. Like, you're not saying, the only way I would say that you failed is if you were like, I'm stopping doing, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do day jobs and chill.
Exactly. And you know what?
That's the only thing that I would say that you would be failing. Because you're not sticking. Because the reason I would say that, like, even if you were to say, I'm pivoting and doing my day job, I wouldn't even view that as a failure. The reason why I would say is for you is because you're then pivoting to something that is out of your character and isn't you. You are told to set your bar less.
Yeah.
That's what I would say that you failed.
Okay, true. That's true. But yeah, that's what's happening on that front. We'll delve into that a lot more when we talk about it in its own episode.
What happened today?
Work. So I obviously go for redundancy, and it basically reached a head for me today. I completely see the process as I've locked away my emotions into a box as much as possible through the process, if that makes sense. And I've tried to see it from a logical standpoint of it's my role that's going, right? I've tried to maintain that logical standpoint. But everyone around me, my team, has been like, oh, I hope you're okay. Oh, like, get well soon kind of behavior, right? And I've been like, okay, it's fine. Like, it's all right. And today I realized that someone in my team was basically actively forwarding all emails to me because I look after this product, even though I stopped being the product manager for it after like next Thursday, right? But even though that's happening, even though I can't join on client calls and everything, I stopped looking after. About 20 odd emails were coming at me because that person couldn't answer the emails. And then I basically asked, like, who am I handing over to? Which I've been asking for ages. I finally got the name of that person. Hand over to him. They were just like, not in tomorrow. Can't hand over to me. Or can you not hand stuff over to me just yet? And I'm just like, so all this like, oh, how are you? How you doing, Sam? I hope you're well. It's all fakery until you have to do something to actually help me. And then that's what so that was like one take. And then I joined one call and it was just like, I got hit with like 30 problems that I was just like, these are nothing to do with the project. You're just bringing it up because you assume I'm the product manager, but I'm not going to be anymore. So then I'm having to make decisions that I'm not actually going to have to action. Someone else is going to have to action. So really, that person needs to be on the calls with me. But that person won't join the calls with me because they don't have the capacity to do so. So I'm basically sat in a position where I'm just sat reflecting on how much extra work I've put into this role in terms of I missed my birthday. I worked on my birthday. I worked whilst I was really ill, and all around me, everyone else is taking holidays and breaks. But then everyone has to stop reminding me, Sam, I hope you're doing well. You should really take a break. You're really burning yourself out. And then it all culminated to, I'm now being made redundant, and I'm the mug that sat in this meeting, answering all these questions and dealing with all these problems. So I literally, like, after the meeting ended, just closed my laptop, walked into the middle of the office, and I just went, I'm done. And then they were like, what? I was like, no, I'm fucking done. I'm just done taking your crap. Like, I'm just done with you lot. Because everyone's just like, oh, how are you? You're sending work my way. No one even said happy birthday to me when I worked during my birthday. When I worked whilst I was ill and people could see I was ill on the call, about 3 people checked in to be like, oh, are you doing all right? We can tell you're really ill. It's like, yeah, it'll be fine. Let's just get this project done. I basically did all of those things. And I think as much as I tried to soldier on, deep down, a part of me was expecting like when people say, are you okay? I genuinely believe that they thought they were like, are you okay? And they would help me. And every little chance they've taken to take a break, they've done it because they know that I'm going to pick up the slack for them. But now I'm being made redundant. And I'm just like, at some point, I need to actually let the business know you need to think harder when you make people redundant, because I'm going and yet you expect me to do this work. And then I've done loads of hours, like a ridiculous amount of hours. And I was expecting to get that time back because I'm actually owed some holiday time. So I'm now getting to the point where I'm working into whatever's left of that holiday time in the team. So basically gone to imagine, it's like, I'm like owed about 2 weeks and I'm still working for you guys. So it's like, yeah, I was hoping you can take it in the next week. And I was like, well, wait, so you're hoping I'm going to take it when I join my new role? Because that's going into the good news territory is I've secured a new offer. It's an internal one. So my first offer's come through out of my applications, which is great, holding on to that one. He's like, I'm hoping like if you're staying, you can just take the break in the next role. And I was just like, so you owe me time and you want me to use up my holiday on another manager's time to get back the time you owe me? And he was just like, yeah, I mean, like, you're doing me. I was just like, no, that's not happening. Like, as of next week, like, you're not hearing from me. That's not happening anymore. So I basically just lost it. And I'm disappointed in myself because I've kept my cool for so long, but I think I was always going to break. And I'm more annoyed that I broke, like, in front of like 5 people. That's what's annoying me the most. Like, I reached my breaking point. But you know what annoys me the most as well? It's, I've always said, don't do stuff without setting the expectation. And that's basically what I did. I did all this hard work. I was so nice to everyone. I didn't set the expectation of, I expect you to pay this back. So when I've asked them to pay it back and they've gone no, I'm just like, what do you mean no? I did all of this for you. What do you mean no? You're not going to help me? So yeah, that's basically me exploding in the office. But the other good news is, got a job offer. So Sammy won't be jobless. By accepting this offer, I keep my car.
Yeah, not your house or,
No, I'll give it a car. No, I'll give it a car. Other note is, I'm still like wrapping up all my other interviews, but this is like a really good role. It aligns really well with my research. It allows me to carry it on.
Is this a different team?
So yeah, it's a different team. I'm way happier to.
Do the people know you?
Yeah, they know me, but they don't know me as this helpful Sam. Can I just say?
Yeah,
they know me as Sam. So I'm taken into that team, and I've tried not to let everyone in my current team know that I'm going to that role, so they can't go and spread like Sam's really helpful. Sam's really good at Excel. I'm there as a product owner. I'm there to do my job. I'm there to do my job well, and just that. I'm not there to like work on my holidays. I'm not there to stay behind at 8 p.m. That's not me. You get what you get. So I'm going to go into that team, and that's what I'm going to be focused on.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's good. Yeah, I think you've learned a lot from this current experience.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn something which I learned, not saying I learned this way before you, Sam, but I experienced a very similar thing of like being like, oh, Happy Lewis, he's going to do everything and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here I've become very like I've taken a lot of what I've been reading with this Tim Grover book, Relentless, which, by the way, Sam, I know I don't give you homework. You need to read this book, by the way.
It's on Spotify, right? It's on Spotify.
It'll be an audiobook, but like I'm telling you that because I'm halfway through this book, I'm like, this is actually really working for me. And because there's been things I've been implementing this week, and it's very much like thinking like the alter ego of or channeling someone else to get what you need to do done and how they would behave. I've been using that a lot this past week and just getting shit done. Like, for example, there's this person in a different team who I would have my headphones on like locked in, and they would come up to me and like randomly want to chat and stuff like that. And I'm like in the middle of something. They would be like, oh yeah, like I'm bored of and like I always go, okay, I have to be good here. I can't just tell her to like leave me alone because that seems rude and could hurt their feelings. Today, I was like, I'm going to tell people I'm doing work. Like, I don't have time for this right now. And that's what I did. I could tell that it hurt them a little bit, but I was directed the way that I was saying it. It wasn't like rude, but I was like, hey, listen, I'm in the middle of this right now. We can chat later if you need anything, but I don't have time to do small talk at the moment because I'm really busy doing this. They understood. They're like, oh, okay. But I could tell like they weren't used to it because I'll usually be logged in, and when I take off the headphones, I know it's like, oh, have to be very respectful, kind Lewis, happy to small talk to everybody. But I'm not this week. Like when clients are like, oh, we need to be careful what we say to the client, or sort of stuff. I'm telling clients exactly what they need to hear. I'm replying to stuff the way that I want to. I know sometimes I like, because the thing is, my manager would love to deliberate over when a client's annoyed or whatever, and oh, we need to do this response, and oh, let's review this email. Nah, I'm just not wasting time, and I'm getting shit done, and I'm being very unapologetic for the way that I do things, because I am this character which I'm channeling knows that he's right, and when I'm wrong, I will apologize, but I don't think I am. And I'm still getting shit done. So I'm being ruthless at work because it's the only way I'm going to get through the day without it ruining my life at home.
Fairs.
So I'm not giving a fuck. Like, I'm really not. And I've been doing it for the past 2 days because work's making me very anxious. There's been not a lot of clear answers, but I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want to do. And the reason why I want you to read this book is because there's something which I read today, this chapter, and I'll give you a little teaser. It basically talks about using your dark side as a way to get stuff done. Like the part of you that, because like, he basically says like, you know, we're all born bad and we're taught to be good. And the dark side of you is the side that you need to channel.
People born into sin.
It's like you're taught to be good, like you know, when a baby cries, like it cries to get what it wants, all that sort of stuff. Like it's your instinct, it's your drive, and you're taught to basically like you're taught to watch out for your instincts and to be well mannered and good. Yeah, I'm channeling dark energy to get shit done, and I'm channeling like I'm letting my ego, I'm channeling more ego to just get shit done, and it's working. I'm in watch of it, but I am channeling a bit more of I don't give a fuck, and it's nice. It's nice. I'm not saying I'm being a dick at work. It can be seen to people that way, but I know I'm not. So I'm using that energy to get stuff done because I don't need to be friends with these people. I'm paid.
No, you don't.
I'm getting shit done.
That's the other thing.
If they don't like it, that's fine. But at the same time, if you look at my metrics, I come in, I do my time, I get shit done, you can't complain. And that's my approach going forward, because if I'm trying to be Lewis at work and I bring that Lewis home, I'm bringing the work mentality home with me. So that is my approach going forward, and I'm going to see if it works. But yeah, that's where I am.
Fucking
so it's been good.
Fair play.
Now, I said, did you have anything?
Other than getting a job offer come through, and I've had a few big discussions happening. As you might have noticed on LinkedIn, I've now taken off my open to work. Reason being is I'm actually inundated with interview requests and recruitment messages.
Bitches.
People just want me. People just want me. People just want a well-managed man of colour.
They just want that quota. Like,
they
please.
just want a well-mannered man of colour who's about to wrap up his PhD. They just want that. And they want someone who's been in a growth manager who's worked in a fail-fast business. I'm just, and you know why I'm spitting my bars about my skill sets? Because I'm always going to keep the door open. Do not mess with me. Whoever takes me next, do not mess with me. I am sick of being nice guy Sam. I have come into these teams and you have taken the mick out of my feelings. So I'm keeping the door ajar. So, no, I'm joking. I'm very focused when I work in a team. And for the love of God, wherever I work next, generally is now the last place I'm going to work. The redundancy threw that out of whack. And I was like, oh, this was the last. This is genuinely, wherever I work next is the last place where I'm working for someone else. I'm not moving anymore. If you move me, fine. Sarah, we take a loan and we risk homelessness. I'm not working for anyone else. I am honestly, after this role, whatever role I do, whether it takes me 5 years to finish it, whether it takes me, when that's done, I'm promising to myself, that's it. We don't work for anyone else. We just work for ourselves. If we're going to quit, it's because we're quitting to work for ourselves. That's the mindset we're taking in now. That's what we're going to do. But yeah, that's it.
That's good, man. I think that's a good aim to have.
But yeah, I had 8 hours of sleep last night. That's one last bit of good news.
That's good, man. It's
good. Normal for some
people,
but for me,
that was very surprised.
Huge achievement.
That's
and you know why massive. I had it? Because I nearly had a panic attack at training yesterday. And basically, everyone sat down and went, "Tell us about your life." Explain it. Everyone's like, "So for 2 weeks, you've had 4 hours sleep a night." And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, that explains everything, Samuel."
Yeah,
so yeah, I had to hit bed early for health reasons. I don't want to die young. You go, you land, bro. Sorry.
So the point I was tap on. I mean, I already kind of just went into it. Was basically like because I had my brother was in town for like 24 hours, so we had dinner, explained to him everything that's going on at work and everything like that. He gave me some brotherly tough love, and he very much was channeling basically this book. He basically gave me the same thing that I've been reading. He was like, you need to create a monster. Basically, it was his exact words. I was like, you need to create a monster in order to deal with this period that you're in. Because he was like, when he was my age, so 4 years ago, he was dealing with stuff which was 10 times worse. And he was like, and the way I got through that is like, you need to create the caricature to deal with the shit. And you need to look at things very pragmatically and all that sort of stuff. So we had a good chat. We had a good dinner. And it was very, very useful. And yeah, it was good. And yeah, it was like, and the thing is, he was like, Goggins talks about this. He was like, you like channel in that side of you that is got his ego locked in. He's not doubtful about anything. Like, you could be homeless and you still think you're going to do it. Like, you need to have that healthy amount of delusion. But sometimes when you're in that period, you need to be delusional to get through it. And I think we need to have a conversation about that, because you see people who do shit just by self-belief alone. And I know we had an episode about this, but I think I need to, that's what I kind of want to tap on. So that's just one of the things to chat about.
Arguably, that's kind of what we see. That's what we kind of, when we talk about manifesting things, and obviously we don't believe in just making shit up and hoping it comes true.
Delusion matched with action.
Like exactly. And I think people who actively manifest are so desperate for their manifestations to come true. I think they do the little indirect actions unconsciously that actually help to make their thing come true. So they actually do the work they need to do to get it done without even recognizing it. And then when it happens, they're like, oh, I manifested it. And it's like, well, I guess you did, but you actually did do the work when you look back and actually read your diary and take it. So I 100% agree that we just need to be savages. Like
Yeah.
am I going to go for a run tonight? Probably not. I'm going to go to bed. Wake up early tomorrow. I'm aiming to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and go for a run. So that means I've got to get to bed by like 10 latest.
Good shit. Weird that ain't
Yeah.
happening.
I know.
Right. So, Sam, there was something which I heard today. So I listened to What Now, which is Trevor Noah's podcast.
Yes.
I listened to 2 episodes, one with Gabriel Iglesias, who's like another stand-up comedian. He jokes. And
Fluffy.
Fluffy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to another episode with Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And Kevin Hart, he talks about his legacy and how he does lots of different things. Like, you know, he'll do his acting, and then like, you know, he's got an underwear brand, and he has this energy drink, and obviously he has his stand-up. And Trevor Noah was very open about, like, you know, he went to therapy. Well, he's been in therapy. And Trevor Noah was like, you do scaffolding. I was like, what? Now, I'm not in therapy. I don't know what this term is. You probably already know where I'm going with this already, as a guess.
No one.
But
Gone.
basically, Kevin Hart was like, I'm not in therapy. Stop chatting all this therapy talk. You know, we're not in therapy. So basically, because Kevin Hart's talking about how, you know, he's going to do this and then do this to like secure the future. So if this fails, I have this. And if this fails, I have this. Like backup or a backup or a backup. And it's like, you're a scaffolding brother, is what Trevor Noah was saying to him. And it's like, you're thinking, in case of things fail, you need to have a backsafe. Like, you're never fully confident in this thing. So he's saying, like, you know, when I do a stand-up show and I've been working on this show for like a year, those jokes die. So I have nothing left. Like, the joke's done. Like, I can never repeat that material. So I have nothing left after that. So he was like, that's when, like, stomach's bumbling, I'm nervous because, you know, I have nothing left. It's like the equivalent of starting a company and selling it for like, you know, 100K or whatever. It's like, okay. And it's like, you always have to run out. You have to create new things. So Kevin Hart scaffolds. And when he said scaffolding, I immediately thought of you.
What?
Immediately thought of you. What? Because, and I don't even need to explain why. And I'm thinking, like, do you think a lot of entrepreneurs and people like yourself have this scaffolding tendency? Do you think all these side quests you want to do is a way of securing safety?
Oh yeah,
in a way, if things were to go to...
I've never hid that, have I? I don't think I've ever hid that. That's why I do it. I think what I'd say, I've got a fear of being put into a corner.
Yeah,
and only having one thing, because that fear is there because there might come a time where that thing isn't needed by the world anymore.
Yeah,
and this redundancy process has proven that to me, right?
Yeah,
my product management role was made redundant. Now being offered roles in product ownership. Other companies want product managers, but slightly different tweaks, and all the different skill sets more so things I've done before I even came to Experian, have proven to be all I've needed was the actual title, product manager, somewhere in that journey for these companies to validate me to come in. But in most of the interviews I've talked about, it's my time at uni days, the stuff I worked on there. It was things I've worked on with Anxious Extrovert. So all these other things that came into play. So I do scaffold, but I always see the benefit of doing it. But I think we've touched on it before, where I've talked about how I feel like I'm spinning too many plates, and if I put more energy into one thing, it would do better. So I do see situations where if I didn't spend time having all these backups, and I just put my all into one thing, I could probably make it work. I do see that, and I just think I need to take the risk and do it at some point. But I've built too many risks in my life. I've built too many dependencies, in my life to want to take that risk. The risk is too high now. Like the risk, I have a house with Sarah that I have to make sure I'm paying myself the bills for to make sure we keep it. I have, actually, to be fair, it's the house and the cats, to be honest, that the main depends. If all else went crap, I could just go live with my mum and pretend none of this was happening. But yeah, those are the main things. I need to be able to at least afford that. And then there's the life comforts I've become accustomed to that I just don't want to let go of. But yeah, because of that, it's like I can't risk losing my day job and the money that comes with it. I can't risk doing all this. But I'll also be the first person to say that I'm very aware that all these backups I have are quite draining to maintain. They're very tiring. Like, the redundancy has been a blessing in disguise, man. And now the next role I'm looking at, my focus is a good work-life balance. No matter where it is, it's a good work-life balance.
What to you is a good work-life balance? Because I remember I was speaking to my brother about this, and I think he said this in like interviews and stuff like that. But it's like, I think he was saying like work-life balance for him is not really, it doesn't exist, because work is just a part of life. So the balance is always, it fluctuates, because work is going to be part of your life. There's going to be times where it's really intense and then not as much.
No, so, it's fine, but within the same time frame.
But I hear what you're saying.
Because when a boss or a manager when you talk to someone who's higher up and depends on you to do your work about work-life balance, in their head it's ringing alarm bells around. When it goes 5:30, I'm going to have to do the work. Sam ain't going to do it. That's how they see it, right? Where I'm saying is, I want to be in a role where I can be a better organized. I've not got people like I've got now chucking work over the fence at me because they can't be asked to do it and just naming my name on it, right? I'm not got that. Even when it's the simplest of questions that they definitely know the answer to. It's like, oh, I don't know what this is. You definitely know the answer to it, right? So from my position, it's like I'm taking this new role opportunity to find a role where between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5:30 or whatever it is that I've signed up to do, I can get what I need to get done in that day done. And then I can prioritize, and whatever gets left for the next day is left for the next day. I'm not here at 6:30 still working on it. And then even then, between the hours of 9 and 5:30, I'm so organized that I'm not having to overthink the tasks I'm working on. Yes, there'll be curveballs during work, but when I'm literally burnt out to a point where I leave work at 5:30, but I'm still mentally processing all that stress and I can't get anything else done, my work-life balance is screwed. I do have other responsibilities and other things I care about outside work that me completing the learnings from could actually benefit while doing my day job. I'm not even able to do that. I'm not able to do the things I enjoy. I feel like I finish work at 5:30. I'm so burnt out. I'm just basically droning around the house. Then I sleep, and then I'm back there again at 9 a.m. So it doesn't even matter that I finish on time anymore. I'm just burnt out when I do finish on time.
This is why I wanted to ask, because when you say work-life balance, it sounds like when people say work-life balance, you're saying working really late. But like, I really like what you just said, because I will work the hours that I work, but it's not a work-life balance issue because I'm still doing the life part outside of work. It's the work balance. It's just work. It's the work. It's work balance. It's not even work-life balance, because other areas of my life are fine. It's just work balance. So it's not even the life part. It's absolutely fine. It's like, just
what I've come to learn is
it's what I bring to that life part. Because of work.
A trick of being a product manager is being a great stakeholder manager, like being really good and approachable, being the person that people go to know about the product and work with you about the strategy. But the tricks product managers have is knowing who to hand the work off to. It's what I've come to learn. Now, me being the technical person I am, me being a fixer, me with my high figure out ability, right? I don't just look at it as, oh, this is a problem. I look at it as, this is a problem, this is the likely solution. I already know how to fix it in most cases. So when I'm getting these conversations and I'm like alluding to, okay, this is what we need to do to find the data, I'm naming all this stuff, and everyone just sits there quiet for 20 minutes. What I used to do wrong is be like, I'll just do it. Because clearly none of you guys, I'll ask someone to do it and they'll do it wrong. But these days I'm like, I'm naming you, the person who has to do it, you have to do it. Because I don't care about the confrontation of, oh, I'm not sure. I don't care. You've got to do it. It's literally your job to do it. I'm not picking up. Because what was happening was I'm picking up all this work and I'm literally catch up with someone. I'm like, oh, what are you up to? And they're like, oh, I'm just playing with my kids in the garden. Oh, what are you doing? We're all meant to be working here. I'm literally picking up tasks from you because you said you're burnt out and you're playing with your kids in the garden at 3 p.m. Lunchtime is gone.
What I find quite interesting, Sam, is, again, you will know this once you listen to the book.
Yeah.
You are what is described as a cleaner.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was considered a cleaner. Michael Jordan was a cleaner. LeBron's he considers a closer. And I didn't know what these terms like meant. I think it's very much his own terminology. But the way that you describe yourself at work is when all shit and everything hits the fan and no one knows what to do, they get you.
Yeah.
So the difference between a cleaner and a closer, how he describes it in basketball terms.
Mm-hmm.
A closer is one who can step up to the plate to win a game-winning shot.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's his moment. A cleaner is on it every single game at all times, all quarters, doesn't celebrate, just gets it done. That's where I would categorize you. You are the cleaner in a workforce of people who aren't even closers.
Mm.
And I think that is where the issue lies. But I think they take advantage of that because they know that you want to get stuff done just for like the craft of it. You don't even want to do the work, but you'll do it because you know it needs doing.
Yeah.
And it's sort of lower the game, lower the hustle.
Exactly.
Like, you'll do that. But I think for you as well, and you've already said that you're doing this now, I think the missing piece of the puzzle, which you're now telling me you got a lot better at, is that you're not setting that boundary of, I'm doing all I need to do, you need to do your part, and you need to call people out directly, not aggressively, but directly on their bullshit. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, based on our conversations, you weren't doing as much before.
No.
But you're getting a lot better.
So I was avoiding the discomfort of having to do the argument. But now I'm literally like, what are you doing? Pick it up, come on.
You're now, I wouldn't say that you're putting your emotions in the box, like you said earlier.
Mm.
What I would say is, you have them in the box, but you're looking and you're knowing what's in there.
True.
You need to know what emotions you're feeling. Because putting your emotions in the box is ignoring it, and then that actually controls you. You seem to be aware of your emotions. And I wouldn't say like you snapped. You're using your emotions as tools to get people to get shit done.
True.
Like, because anger, example, like if you like lost your shit, flipping tables, fine. That's anger controlling you. You're controlling your anger. Because anger is just a tool to communicate what you want done, right? All the emotions are, but anger in particular, you need to use fractions of it to get stuff what you're doing. Your team only seem to respond to when you're actively pissed, because if beforehand they were doing all the shit that you need to do, when you say, oh hey, can you do this, you wouldn't have had to be direct. So I don't see it as you using your shit. You had to be pissed. That's how I look at it. Knowing you, I think you had no choice.
No.
To be honest. Because that's the only way they'll fucking listen, to be honest.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. That was because I had to switch characters. I had to become like I had to become a savage for them to even, because until then I was just a nice guy Sam that they can walk all over. Yeah. Until I lost it today, they were just like, and then all of a sudden it was a shock. And like one of them was like, I'm going to talk to Ed, the manager, and it's like, he can't save you from doing your job. Like, just go do your job. Just go pick it up. But it was like, for me, I think I was more annoyed about the entitlement of it, of like, you were so comfortable letting me do all of this work that you thought this is something you can go and complain about if I don't do it for you. And then it came back to me, it was like, no, you've actually got to get it done. Like, go do the job. Why are you not doing your job? And now it's just like, oh, let's have a catch up this day. Let's have a catch up that day. I'm like, no. All those days are next week when I don't want to be working anymore. Yeah. So we did it this week.
I hear you. I did have something else just pop into my head whilst we were talking. And again, a lot of this has been influenced by what I've been reading. Because I would claim to say that if I was say, oh, I don't like a lot of pressure, like pressure stresses me out and things like that. And after reading this book, not after reading this book, during reading this book, it's actually saying like, because, I would always say like, listening to Hormozy and things like that, it's like, when you want to become a certain way, life will give you the stresses and the challenges to make you that way. And I'm kind of looking at like, is stress actually good for me? Is the pressure and stress actually making me better at work? Is it just the way that I'm viewing the stress? Because, stress, talk about cortisol and, and how it's bad for you and all these sort of things. And the way that what he said is like stress and pressure can break pipes, but it also makes diamonds. So maybe it's the way that we're looking at stress and pressure. And the way you're saying it is like, when like LeBron won a ring. Like people say, oh, the pressure's off. It's actually, like, because he's out at the top. He needs to stay there. He now has even more pressure. And I'm trying to think, like, now in the past, when I had lots and lots of pressure that I'd be putting on myself for, like, peers doing better, does that actually help? It's like when they say, your network is your net worth. If you're at the top of your, like, say your close circle, you're the only one who's doing well in work and things like that, but then you don't elevate. When you're at the bottom of your circle, all your friends are doing shit and you're not, you somehow elevate. Is that because of the pressure that you get? So what do you think, like, in regards to pressure and stress? Because I've been really thinking about this for the past, like, 2 days, in terms of, like, is all this pressure or stress that I'm feeling actually making me more focused and getting shit done?
I think pressure in general, if pressure in general gives you, like, a boost of energy and motivation to do things, and you do it with a pace and a mindset, even if it takes you just as long as it would have if you didn't have the motivation to do it, you do it with such, like, intensity that it feels like you're working at super speed, right? Stress, it's the same thing but without any direction. So sometimes the stress of things can make you feel like, okay, there's pressure. The stress can like trigger the pressure or the feeling of, okay, crap, there's not much time. Even if you have a week to do it, all of a sudden you're stressed about it. You just want it to go away. So then it becomes the pressure of, okay, make this thing go away. Make this thing go away by working on it right now and get it over and done with. But then what ends up happening is you just end up doing it in the crappiest way possible. And this happens so many times where I'm really stressed at night, I'm really working late, and I'm just like, oh, let's just get over it. Even though the project, I can get it done, like, over the next week, because it's late at night and I'm under so much stress and I feel like I just need to get it done. I end up convincing myself that if I don't finish it now, I'm just going to be doing this again tomorrow night, and then the night after that, and the night after that, even though daytime exists, right? And then because of that, I end up messing it up. But almost every time I wake up, I'll look at the same work in the morning and just be like, what is this nonsense? Only once, and that actually happened recently. I did my end of year, my university end of year final review, and literally today was the only time where I did a presentation overnight. Well, no, not today, because did I do a presentation today? I did a presentation yesterday. So night before was the only time I'd stayed up late, done a presentation, and then woke up morning and thought, oh, there's actual genius on here. But the only reason why it was good is because 2 days before I did part of it during the day, and then I wrapped up the bit at night up to me just to do. Long story short, pressure is good. Pressure is helpful. Pressure is a good motivator. And the more you can do stuff under pressure, the more resilient you can be. Stress is almost like stress is a good trigger when you're not feeling like you want to work under pressure. It's a good trigger to work under pressure. It's a terrible fuel for working under pressure in terms of it'll get you going, but you'll be so erratic, it wouldn't be half as good as if you were more calm, collected whilst you were doing that work. That's how I'd see it. Have you got different points of view, or do you align with that?
No, I think that's a good way to put it together, to be honest. Because I think, again, I'm just thinking, like, because when you feel pressure but not stressed about it, I think that's a good position to be in. Or, like, know that there's pressure there, but you personally don't feel it because you're reassured in your skill set, your knowledge, or whatever it is to get it done. And I think the stress, when you have a lot of pressure, feels like, I think it's just the preparation. Or you could be prepared, but you don't have the self-belief. And I think it's definitely one of those two. Thinking of, like, when I feel a lot of pressure at work, I know I could get the stuff done, but I know it's that I'm actually not getting stressed by the workload. I'm getting stressed out by what I think will happen in those scenarios, in people's response to what I believe is my preparedness.
Yeah.
And I'm only kind of piecing this together as I'm saying it out loud. So did I just fix myself? So, yeah. No, I read this today and I was like, maybe pressure is good because, say for instance, like, if, like, I think I said this before, like, if my peers and colleagues were like, all doing like okay, like I would feel like, oh, I'm fucking outworking everybody, I'm doing all this sort of stuff. But because I'm surrounded by people who are driven, I always feel like there's more to do, there's always so much more to do. Because the people who I listen to, because the books I read, I'm like, I can be doing more.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like art. It's like, it's not even artificial pressure, because it's just like, I know what the potential is. So that's why you kind of want to self-actualize in that way. Because if I didn't consume all that information, I wouldn't put any pressure on me at all, and I would like plateau. Because like objectively looking at the past year, there's actually been a lot of growth there. I don't feel it, but there definitely is when you look at the actual fact. So it's interesting.
How have you been tracking that growth?
Essentially, I just reflect, to be honest, because if I look objectively, like, and it always happens when I catch up with someone who I haven't seen in a while.
Right.
And they're like, oh, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, like, I'm working here. Oh, yeah, I started a podcast. Oh, yeah, I did video things. I started a company. And, oh, yeah, I did this. And when you actually go like, oh, right, there's actually been progress.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with progress is that you set new goals, and then that progress then feels like the first step of 100.
Mm.
Whereas that big step was the 1,000th step beforehand, but your vision's changed. So that's why I always feel like there's more to do. So when people ask like, oh man, you're here, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's fine. People think I'm a dick because I don't acknowledge like their compliment for something that I've done. Yeah. But I'm just like, yeah, but now now the goalpost has changed. Like, it's not. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I don't know if I wouldn't. I guess maybe we're alike in terms of our aspirations, and we're quite driven. I'm clearly blowing smoke up my own arse. But I don't know if people inherently think you're a dick for not appreciating the compliment. I would probably think. I'll probably think it's the other way around. I think people kind of go. I think it's, for some people, it's like almost exciting when you don't like acknowledge the because it's almost like, oh wait, there's more. For some people, if they do think you're a dick, it's kind of speaking within themselves of they've given you the compliment because society told them to, not because they really meant it, and it was kind of just like a good for you. And then if you're going to be like, I'm going to keep going and there's more to achieve, and they're just like, oh, and then like slow down on all these things because you're doing too much. Okay, fine, bin them people. There are some people that will generally do it because maybe they're worried about you. And like when you're like, oh, this is just the beginning, it's almost like, all right, Kanye, take a breather, relax.
No, I think in terms of like, when it's like when people go like, oh, everyone starts a podcast or things like that. I'll go, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, and I talk about my opinion. I'm very careful when I talk about my opinion on like wanting to do more outside my 9 to 6, because I know some people are very happy in their 9 to 6. And the reason why I feel like I can be seen as a dick is because I feel like I'm dissing their choice, and I feel like you're not doing enough because you should be doing what I'm doing. I feel like people can feel attacked in that way. So that's why I'm very cautious when I speak about it. But
I think,
because I think we had this brief conversation before.
We have, and that's what you said about people feeling sorry for people for 9 to 6. Do you not get to a point where you kind of think, unless someone gives you a reason why you should pity them, you probably shouldn't. You shouldn't go out of your way to like beat around the bush and apologize for someone's lifestyle if they really do enjoy it. And what I mean is like, if someone's asking how I'm doing, and I'm really proud of my success, I'm not going to temper that because I think you working at McDonald's is lesser than me. Because sometimes I think that comes across as insulting as well. Was like, oh, like it's all right. Like, when people give like backhanded compliments, like, oh, I could never do what you do though. Like standing there at a restaurant every day Like, I can never do it in terms of like engaging people. Like, it must get so stressful. It's like, we both know you could probably do that. We both know you can handle it. You just don't want to do it because you think it's beneath you.
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't go out my way to think, I wouldn't go out my way in terms of, oh, my job's way better than yours. But I also want to do more of actually just being proud of myself when people ask how I'm doing and actually celebrate. Because I think it works both ways. Like, we spend so much time tempering down our successes. And a friend of mine made it really clear to me. He was just like, Sam, I appreciate like you're going through redundancies. I appreciate you feel like your life's really stressful. But the job offers you've got literally still pay you more than your last job. And it's like, for our age, for us to be making as much as we make, for us to be driving like BMWs, and I mean, Luke's got a G-Wagon, for God's sake, for us all to be driving these cars and still feel like there's not enough going on in our life. Don't you think that's a bit messed up? Don't you think that's so screwed that? And I was like, it's a fair point, because back in the day, if my mom bought me like a Ford Fiesta, I'd have been gassed, because it would be a car. It'd be a car I can drive my friends to McDonald's in. I could do all of that fun stuff that everyone else gets to do. But now, God forbid that's the car I end up in. Like, I would lose it. And it's almost like, I look back and I kind of think like, that's a really fair point. But I'm also appreciative of the fact that I think I've got the mental capacity to push further. So if I was to drop a bit further back, I'd drop down to like, I don't know, a Subaru level, not Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
if I fell apart.
I've been trying to like articulate this in my head the other day, because now people are like, oh, you should always be grateful. Like, you know, you got a roof over your head and all this sort of stuff, right? Yes, I do. And that's a given that I'm appreciative of these things. And when people say, you should be grateful, you're grateful for this, and this, right? And this is me, again, channeling in me thinking what I want to think and speak what I want to speak. A part of me feels like this is asking you to temper your ambition and not want more. I disagree with this, because if you don't want more, we wouldn't be doing it all this shit. We're doing this because we do want more. And I'm not going to apologize for wanting more. And yes, it's great that I have my roof. It's great that I have my roof and my bed and, you know, loving relationship, all this sort of stuff. Yes. But also I've worked on myself to get to this position. And so why do I have to be grateful that I have a roof over my head when I've guaranteed that it should be that case? Do you see what I mean? And so I want more because I think I can do more, and I want to reach my potential of what I think would be good. And when I hit that point, I'm going to do it again. So yes, I should be grateful for these things, but I don't think my ambition should be tempered that much. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think people can take it as, oh, you're being really ungrateful and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for me to get to this position, and I'm going to be grateful when I get to the next one. So no, I'm not just going to be grateful because I woke up and had cereal and coffee this morning. Like,
no, I'm grateful for that 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not grateful for that anymore.
And this is starting to piss me off, because it's telling me to like lower my goal. And I don't want to do that because it got me here. Do you know what I mean?
People who say that probably mean well, but they are speaking from their own perspective of like, I wish I could be at your level, or I wish I could not, maybe not, I wish I could be at your level. I wish I could have the experiences you have in life. But ultimately, I promise, I always, well, I don't say this, but I should say this more to my friends. I promise you, when you get to wherever this level you assume I'm at, you'll want to get to the next one after. It won't feel like it's enough. The only people I know who are comfortable where they're at is because they got forced to where they're at. They didn't have a choice. Life literally pushed them in that direction. Like, oh, I'm making X amount of money because you literally got forced out of your company and you got a job that makes you this money, right? Me, the roles I've been looking for, I promise you I've been eyeing these up for a while now. I've not applied for them, but I've been preparing myself for this. The offer I've got through, one of the offers I've got through literally aligns with my research perfectly. I've been preparing for this moment. I've been looking at this team thinking, I want to join that team one day. I want to be a part of that team. So if I'm going into that team and I'm going to do the work, I'm still going to, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to do the job they pay me to do. The experiences I learned from that, I promise you I'm taking into something bigger and better. I'm there to learn. I'm there to develop. So I think that's just the case. I think if you're forced into a scenario you don't want to be in, you tend to stagnate. If you go there with intention and purpose, you'll thrive. And the idea of thriving is to want to do more, to want to do better, bigger and better each time. And if that's the mindset you have, then go for it. because we need more people with these mindsets in the world. We need people to set the example for others to follow through, because all the stuff that got invented in the world, some of it was by accident, but it still required someone to go and present it to someone else to sell it. Penicillin was made by accident. The doctor didn't turn up and go, oh, that's productive, bin it. Did it? Like, that's really good. Gonna throw it away. Like they went out of their way to do something with it. That's what the world needs. Do we need everyone to do that? No. I had a manager who said there's a difference between thinkers and doers. And there's people who think, they come up with the idea, they go and they chase their goals, and there's doers. People who are just happy to wake up, do their day job, and go to bed. They're not bothered about the impact they have on the world. They just want to do the basic minimum because they're happy with their routine. And everyone fits into one of those two categories because that's how the world works. I didn't like that because I'm pretty sure he when he told me that, he was thinking of himself as the thinker and me as the doer. And I was just like, well, that's not the case at all because we're not. I'm a thinker too. But however, as I've grown in life, I've started to notice that doers exist.
It's very interesting that you said thinkers and doers and put it into that way, because I would think that the messaging of that should actually be flipped. Because
really?
Yes, because there's people who think and then don't do anything. Because the doers are doing shit. The thinkers are the ones who are book smart and all this sort of stuff. And like, oh, it'd be so cool if we did this and hypothetically and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, you know, the doers are the people who outwork the people who are smarter and should be doing all this sort of stuff. I thought you were going to frame it in that way.
So he meant something like, we've got people who think of the project, come up with the strategy, you're just there to push buttons and upload shit. That's how he's trying to phrase it. He's trying to make me feel special about wanting to do that for the rest of my life. And I was like, no. You want to do that for the rest of your life. You got pushed into managerial because you did this for so long with the rest of your life that you literally got told to become supervisors of other people who want to do this for the rest of their life. You didn't even want the position you're in. You got moved there because they didn't get why you've been doing this for 7 years straight. Yeah. They needed to move you up.
Because this is I find it quite interesting because I think I've heard of that messaging all the sort of time, and I know he got that out of he probably watched American Psycho or something like that. But for example, Sam, right? Sure. We could have, loads of people think about doing a podcast. We could have thought about doing a podcast for years. True. But instead we're like, actually,
let's just do it.
Sometimes thinking isn't really that great. People think way too much. And I've said this multiple times, I'm going to keep saying it. The tank that you do thinking and talking about the idea is the same one you take from actually doing the thing. So
true.
If someone say, Lewis, are you a thinker or a doer? I'd say doer, 100% off the bat. And I'd back myself and be like, well, this is why. Because I'm doing it and not thinking about it, which is way better. Because you can't show me proof that you thought about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
But, yeah, dude. I've enjoyed this one. Bro. Even though
I like our waffle episodes. No direction.
This is actually very good, though. I like this one. This probably is my favorite one that we've done a lot.
We should compare this waffle episode to the first waffle episode because there's structures to this one. That first one,
part of me still thinks you haven't fully watched that first episode. I feel like you skipped it.
I couldn't watch. I did watch it all actually. No, I did watch it all.
Okay.
I listened to it all. I didn't watch it all. I don't have the attention span to stare at myself that long.
That's fair.
Weird.
But yeah, dude, this was good. If you guys enjoyed, thank you for being here for 30 episodes. Give us 5 stars. Actually, tell your mates, please, because we're doing this for free after work.
You know what? Do if you want. Tell your mates if you want. We're still gonna make the content.
No. Tell your mates.
I'm not desperate for their love. They'll love me if they want me.
Please.
They'll
please. It's just a crumb of a follow, please.
They'll come if they want me.
Thank you guys for being here. Podcast Evolved, TikTok, Instagram, all them things there. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.